San Diego Comic-Con is the biggest pop culture event on the planet. It really is. You get 150,000 people down to San Diego for a weekend looking for collectibles, comics, action figures. But if you're a physical media collector like me, it's a little harder to find stuff. It's becoming a bit of a ghost town. You're in a ghost town with 150,000 other people, and I spent 3 days looking at every booth in the room. I found all the booths that had physical media of any kind. I'm not big into anime. There was a booth that was selling anime. I hunted down what they had, and I was looking for anything really, just stuff to add to the collection, to rebuy from before, and I actually found something that was a bit of a holy grail for me. And I know, I've already found a holy grail with that X-Files complete series set, but this holy grail, it might actually not be a real holy grail. So in years past, I've actually been able to find Blu-rays and 4Ks and whatever else in physical media land at San Diego Comic-Con. They've even had booths, some of the booths had some small amounts of physical media here or there, but it's really just comic books and collectibles. I went to the Shout Studios booth, and yes, I did get something from the Shout Studios booth actually. You can see the footage here of it. They had a very, very small selection of their stuff that they normally have. They had a convention exclusive Wallace and Gromit. They had some other deals, but really I went there searching for one thing because I knew they would have it there, and that was a copy of The Killer on 4K. I have the Better Tomorrow trilogy, I have Hard Boiled, and now I have The Killer. I know this came out from Arrow Video, and there's probably going to be people in the comments that are screaming at me that I should have just gotten the Arrow Video version. Well, they're both pretty comparable from what I've looked at, and it'll look nice on the shelf with all the other ones. So I got The Killer on 4K from Shout Studios. Not anything crazy. And so I went to another booth. It was a booth that had a bunch of horror collectibles and stuff, and I got some copies of Goosebumps books that I don't already have. I'm trying to get all of the original Goosebumps books, so getting these in pretty nice condition. I know paying $10 is a little bit high, but you know, it's a very nice copy of Monster Blood 2, and then a nice copy of It Came From Beneath the Sink. I didn't have either of these ones, so I'll pay a little bit over that normal $5 range that I would like to pay for Goosebumps books, but they were there and they were in nice condition. So I was about to give it up. I was about to pack it up and say, well, this is a pretty good year. You know, I saw this anime booth that had a bunch of stuff, but it was really overpriced. It was really, really overpriced stuff. You know, I'm looking to get these Dragon Ball Z sets. People have recommended the DVDs that are right here, but I'm not paying this much for them, especially when you can get them somewhere else for way, way cheaper than this. Or just a bunch of other anime stuff. Digimon, SD on BD. I want to get Digimon as well, but like I said before, I'm not paying this price for it. That's a crazy price for these sets, especially for the DVD sets for Dragon Ball. And so I went to this booth. They had some other stuff that was non-anime stuff. They had some wild anime stuff as well, and I didn't grab any of that, if you're asking. But I was ready to pack it up, and then I said, wait, I remember a certain booth. There was a booth that I remember at Comic-Con in years past that I've been to that I've kind of stayed away from because, well, they sell bootlegs. And as you know, I'm all for people having whatever the heck they want in their collection, but I don't really want to have bootlegs. That's why I've been holding out to get Stranger Things on 4K or to get some of the Disney Plus shows, because either I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and then I'll die, or they'll actually put it out before I buy a bootleg. But in this case, I went to this booth and I looked around and I saw something that caught my eye. It made me think, oh man, I'm gonna have to break my rule, aren't I? And what was that thing? Well, you can see it here in the video and you can see it here in my hand. That is the collector's edition of Freddy's Nightmares, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the series, the complete series on DVD with this wonderful cover and this wonderful, really rigid plastic. And, well, it's got all the episodes, and I picked this bootleg up for $30. They were selling a lot of the sets. It was however many discs were included. This includes 4 discs, so it's the certain price of whatever. And I said, hey, I'll get that. Screw it. Because, well, I'm fairly certain that this show is never actually going to come out on physical media. So let's take a look at what a bootleg of Freddy's Nightmares looks like on DVD. So I'm here with the Holy Grail, in quotation marks, because, well, let's see if this thing is actually a Holy Grail. So I'm going to open this thing up and let's see what it looks like. Wow. I don't know if that's as bad as I thought it would be, or if it's as good as I thought it would be, because this is as bootleg as it comes, folks. It's got A Nightmare on Elm Street written on the first disc, and then if you forget what 2, 3, and 4 are, you're screwed. You gotta pop it in the thing here. And yeah, that's it. You know, there's nothing else here to see. That's a bootleg for you. Even that old Fright Night Part 2 bootleg looks better than this, and that's at least a somewhat official release. This is definitely not official. I tried looking for this specific version online, and I could not find it. I could not find it with this exact cover, all of that. So, you know, let's pop it in and see what it actually looks like. So the actual picture quality here is, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I've watched the show on Plex, on whatever else other streaming, Screambox when it was on there, and they gave it a little bit of a new coat of paint. I don't know exactly what they did. There wasn't any remastering that went on, but this show, it looks fine. It looks bad-ish, but you're watching Freddy's Nightmares to kind of recapture that sort of late night, hey, what's on TV? Oh, I'm going to watch this. What's this? It's the Nightmare on Elm Street show kind of vibe. It has all the episodes. It has a menu. The menu is really loud. The show itself is really quiet. So if you get around that and you know to turn it down immediately when the episode ends so it kicks back to the DVD menu where it plays the 1, 2, Freddy's Coming For You music, you'll be fine. Some of the scenes that are a little more grainy look kind of iffy. Other than that, it's the episodes. It's the TV show. I didn't want any more than this. If I wanted any more than this, I would have hunted down the Blu-ray or whatever. And, you know, yeah, I'm paying for the convenience of a disc on a show that is abandoned. It's been abandoned by WB. It's been abandoned, and who knows if it's actually going to get a proper release. There were some rumblings, some thoughts that with the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K Steelbook, we would get something like this. Vinegar Syndrome has a license with WB-TV. Who the hell knows now that Paramount owns the rights, or at least the film rights, to the first script? If anything about this is going to come out, there's a bunch of conspiracy theories or, you know, mumbo-jumbo on the internet about, like, sound effects and cues that were used or whatever. I just wanted to watch the frickin' episodes. So that's why I bought this thing. I'm not going to be, you know, buying a whole bunch of bootlegs just to replace stuff in my collection, but I figured for a show that I do really enjoy, that I love, Freddy's Nightmares, having it in the collection, even if it's a bootleg, it's still a bit of a holy grail to me. So if you're a horror fan, you know why this is such a big deal. If you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, you know why this is such a big deal. Because this set, and the Blu-ray included on it, does include the first episode of the series. It has the first episode that sets up basically the prologue to A Nightmare on Elm Street. And this one, it hasn't had a proper US release ever. It had UK, I think, a DVD release that sold like crap, that only did 1 volume. It was aired on the El Rey network, which is where a lot of these rips come from. And it came to Screambox, and it's on, I believe, Plex. It might be on Tubi or one of those other free streaming services. I don't know. I hate watching stuff with ads, so I figured it can't be as bad as this, right? Right? So, finding this at San Diego Comic-Con reminded me of a couple things. One, it's getting harder and harder to find actual physical media at these conventions like this. You know, I go to a lot of these conventions for work. I cover them for work. Some of them are harder to find stuff at than others. But San Diego Comic-Con, there were like 4 booths. Maybe 3 if you want to count certain things. But yeah, it's not that many out of hundreds and hundreds on the floor. It was a hard time finding stuff like this, and so judge me if you'd like on buying a bootleg like this, putting it in my collection, proudly displaying it, making a video about it for all of you to see, but in certain cases, you got to make an exception to your rules, and that's what it's about being a collector of physical media. You can have your hard and fast rules about budget, whatever, but sometimes you got to make an exception. And for my man Freddy, I definitely made that exception and then some. So what do you think about bootlegs? Would you have bought this Freddy's Nightmares bootleg if you have seen it there? It looks kind of funny. It's kind of a funny story to me, but what do you think? Do you own any bootlegs in your collection? I used to own that Fright Night Part 2 Blu-ray, the Spanish one, that I haven't replaced because, well, it's coming out on 4K. So hopefully because I bought this and I've published this video, that means that Freddy's Nightmares is coming out on Blu-ray or 4K. We'll see, because that usually always happens. Like, you buy the bootleg of it, and then 2 days later, they're like, hey, guess what? You're going to spend $150 on this. So, yeah. And I will. I will spend $150 on it if they do announce Freddy's Nightmares. So, if you're watching, rights holders, you got my money already.